Hello everyone, you're watching Everything Weapons. Welcome back to the channel and another video. Today I wanted to talk all about the future of tank development and what systems specifically and weapons will be featured on modern advanced tanks in the near future for warfare. So we're going to be discussing all about what kind of offensive and defensive measures that with the technology of tanks that are being created currently and for the upcoming 2030s, I guess you could say. And this interests me a lot, so drop a like and let's just get right into it. So the future of tank and main battle tank, or MBT, development centers on evolution rather than obsolescence. Modern battlefields shaped by drones, loitering munitions, precision-guided anti-tank missiles, and even top attack threats demand tanks that are more survivable, networked, efficient, and even integrated into combined arms systems of systems, right? So tanks require even more complex design with the threat of drones, and it couldn't be more relevant. So while revolutionary concepts like fully unmanned tanks or even railguns as primary armament or widespread directed energy main guns remain distant or kind of impractical for mobile armored platforms in the near term through about 2035, but significant advancements are already in prototypes and even early fielding with testing of tank development, and hybrid propulsion, advanced active protection, larger caliber guns with auto loaders, and even AI-enhanced sensors. We see a lot of that with modern drone warfare, right? We're seeing AI being used. So, of course, AI is relevant. It exists. They're already testing it with tanks, and they're mostly being used to, like, sense incoming threats like drones or missiles, right? But reduced signatures are defining the next generation as well for tanks. But let's talk about a little bit the core technological trends for near future tanks in 2026 all the way to even 2035, right? First off, hybrid electric or diesel electric propulsion. This is one of the most transformative near-term shifts, and the advantages and benefits include significantly better fuel efficiency and operational range, silent mode electric operation for reduced acoustics and thermal signatures, which makes tanks just stealthier when they move, right, when they drive, and even for like stationary hiding. As well, next up, as abundant onboard electric power to support high demand systems like advanced sensors, active protection systems or APS, electronic warfare, and future directed energy weapons, or DEW weapons, right, Mountain Dew, or electrified armor even. Lower logistical burden because of less fuel transport is needed with hybrid electric or diesel electric propulsion, right? And the examples already are appearing in the world with US American M1E3 Abrams concepts. The Chinese have their ZTZ100 or Type 100 and hybrid variants of the Type 99A1. European programs are exploring similar architectures and designs for tanks, with full electric tanks are unlikely soon due to charging infrastructure and energy density limits in combat. But let's kind of discuss the firepower and armament. So we're seeing with tank development larger main guns, right? So Rheinmetall's 130mm future gun system, demonstrated on the Panther KF-51, offers approximately 50% greater effectiveness and longer engagement ranges than the current 120mm smooth bores. The French Ascalon 140mm concepts are being tested for potential MGCS integration, and these provide superior kinetic energy penetrators against more advanced armor, right? And with future tank development, we also see auto loaders, and these basically enable higher rates of fire, so smaller crews or even unmanned turrets, and more ammunition storage within the tank as well. It's fairly common in new designs, or they're upgrading tanks with autoloaders, right? And next up, advanced munitions. So programmable high explosive rounds, gun-launched ATGMs, and integration with loitering munitions such as the Hero 120 options on Panther concepts. And let's talk about secondary armament. So remote controlled weapons stations, RCWS, optimized for counter drone or even counter UAS roles, often with 7.62mm or even 12.7mm machine guns, or even small missiles for secondary armament tank development. Now, near-term reality, the kinetic smooth bore guns that are 120 to 140mm remain dominant and used the most in real life, right? But railguns face severe, very significant challenges such as power, barrel life, and even just like the size or weight for tank integration. High energy lasers are emerging for future tanks, primarily for soft kill or counter UAS defense, rather than replacing, of course, the tank's main gun. So protection and survivability of tanks, layered multi-spectral defense is basically non-negotiable. Passive armor, advanced composites, modular designs for quick battlefield replacements and or upgrades, and explosive reactive armor called ERA, which is very cool, or non-energetic reactive armor called NERA or NERA. Active protection systems, APS, are hard kill interceptors like the trophy systems, Iron Fist or Rheinmetall, even Strike Shield or the Chinese GL6 are becoming standard or widely retrofitted for tanks, and they defeat incoming RPGs, missiles, ATGMs, and even some kinetic threats, and of course drones. Hybrid hard kill and soft kill, so jammers, decoys, direct energy dazzlers systems are very fast growing within tank development. And signature reduction, so the hybrid power combined with new coatings reduce thermal, acoustic, and even radar signatures for tanks, with drone and top attack defense is very critical. And they learned this, right, the entire world and all of the militaries and countries from the recent conflicts, especially in Ukraine, Russia, and the Middle East, of course, but the APS and the counter UAS sensors and or jammers and electronic warfare are the main priorities right now for future tank development. Now, crew protection, so the tankers, spall liners, blast seats, and even compartmentalization. Some concepts explore reduced crew or even unmanned turret layouts. Sensors, electronics, AI, and network integration, so 360 degrees multispectral situational awareness like thermal, daylight cameras, radar, acoustic, and AI is being used for automated target detection and recognition, threat prioritization and fire control, as well as sensor fusion, reducing crew workload and reaction time as well. So obviously a human can't beat how fast AI and computers are, right? Obviously, but network-centric warfare, so tanks as nodes in a kind of broader ecosystem, sharing data with drones, artillery, air defense, and other vehicles in real time. Now, manned and unmanned teaming, crews controlling robotic wingman vehicles, or even launching or receiving data from UAVs. Autonomy, crewing, and architecture, so trend towards 3-person crews or even fewer via autoloaders and automation. Optionally manned or remote operation concepts exist, but full autonomy for MBTs faces ethical, reliability, and even legal hurdles in the near term and upcoming years, right? But modular open systems architecture for rapid technology insertion and upgrades, with an emphasis on sustainability and lower lifecycle costs through efficiency and maintainability, right? But major national and program developments include America, the United States, with their M1E3 Abrams, which is the Next Generation Combat Vehicle, or NGCV program, and the US is accelerating development of a lighter, more efficient hybrid electric M1E3 Abrams successor, or deep modernization. Key features include hybrid propulsion, advanced APS, AI-enabled systems, improved counter-UAS and counter-drone protection, reduced thermal signature, and manned-unmanned teaming. Now, prototypes are advancing quickly, with some reports and rumors even target initial platoon-level capability in the late 2020s. And the focus is on lowering logistical demands while kind of enhancing survivability against modern threats. Now, Germany has, of course, the Rheinmetall Panther KF-51, a private venture technology demonstrator based on the Leopard 2 hull concepts, showcasing a 130mm auto-loaded main gun, advanced strike shield APS, high digitalization and networking, loitering munition options, as well as a strong mobility at 59 tons. And it emphasizes lethality, protection, and future proofing. And Hungary has a development contract with the KF-51 EVO variant, initially exploring about 120mm with easy upgrade path to up about 130. And this influences kind of broader European thinking, and it kind of serves as a bridge or kind of competitor to joint programs. The Franco-German MGCS, or Main Ground Combat System, is kind of a joint program to replace the Leopard 2 fleets with industrial structure solidified in 2025 with a project company. So now let's talk about challenges and kind of the strategic outlook. So this includes high unit costs with limited numbers. So tanks are super expensive, right? So we see countries doing a little bit of testing here and there, but with the high cost, the need to counter cheap drone swarms and precision munitions, power generation and thermal management for advanced electronics and weapons, and integration into complex networked battlefields. And tanks are insanely expensive and kind of logistically heavy, and their role is shifting towards heavily protected and networked fire support and breakthrough platforms supported by drones and artillery and air assets. And in the past, tanks were used to kind of overwhelm the enemy. Of course, Germany in World War II really focused on perfecting their tanks and just making them bigger and better So they kind of reflected modern war. But the near-term reality, entering the 2030s, expect like widespread retrofits and kind of upgrades for tanks, and as well as the digital upgrades on current fleets like America's Abrams and Leopards and T90s, but alongside initial fielding of hybrid-powered and AI-enhanced platforms like the M1E3, the Challenger 3, and the KF-51 influenced designs, and like the Chinese Type 100 variants. But you know, in the future, further crew reduction and deeper AI autonomy integration is being pursued by every country, and possible defenses or niche roles are being explored as well, and there's a greater emphasis on optionally manned or robotic variants. So thank you guys very much for watching. Tank development is like super interesting, and every country pursues it, right? And they just want better tanks. But we're gonna see less tanks though in war, because they just want them better and they want quality over quantity, right? But thanks very much for watching. Drop a like, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. It does help me out in the algorithm. And type a comment down below of what you thought about this episode and any future video ideas you want me to cover. Subscribe, ring the bell, that way you actually don't miss any video I post in the future because you receive the text notification. And take a look at the older content on the channel. Lots of videos to binge watch. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.